This is Bob. We're going to talk about things that you want to practice on the piano when you first start playing. So this is with no prior knowledge, no prior experience. A lot of people ask in the beginning, before you get a book, before you start learning from an exercise book or you print out sheet music, what should I be practicing in the meantime? I'm going to go over a couple different warm-ups and exercises that you can do very easily when you're starting out to help develop and build coordination and keyboard awareness. So what I mean by keyboard awareness is what we call spatial awareness. Knowing where the keys are without looking. Knowing where your hands are in space. So if I need to play one or two keys away, I can do that without looking down. That is a very important skill you want to start practicing right from the very beginning. The first warm-up that most people do, and that most people suggest to do, and it's very good, is what we call a 5-finger scale. Now you can do this on any of the white keys, starting on and ending on any of the white keys. You just want to make sure you play 5 keys in a row. You want to use one finger each time. So basically you start with your thumb, and then you go to your index finger, then your middle finger, then your ring finger, then your pinky. Go right back down the same way. I would suggest not repeating the top note. So for example, don't double hit that top note. That doesn't happen a lot in music. You shouldn't practice something that's not going to happen in music. You want a more practical application of the exercises and warm-ups that you're doing. You can start on C, on the key C, or you can start on the key G. This will give you what you call a major scale. It'll sound nice, it'll make sense to your ear. And you don't have to start on these keys, you can start on any key you want. Make sure you press one key at a time with each finger and you don't skip anything. Just go up and down. That's a 5-finger scale on all white keys. Another 5-finger scale that I think is very good, especially if you have a younger child, or if you are pretty serious about learning the right way and developing good technique. I call this the black key position, or using 3 black keys. There's really only one spot to do this. It's starting on E, this key right here, playing these 3 black keys, and then B on the top. So that would be with your right hand. If you play with your left hand, you wouldn't start on E, you would start on C instead, right there, and then you would go down like this. You'd play these 5 keys. Doing both ways is good for you. You might be wondering, why should I play these 3 black keys? What it does is it puts your hand in a good position by allowing your thumbs and your pinkies to rest on keys that are lower than the black keys. It moves your longer fingers, your index finger, your middle finger, and your ring finger, it moves them up the piano. The next position you want to practice in is with 1 black key in the middle. So you'll play 2 white keys, and then you'll have a black key, and then 2 more white keys. You'll be able to do this in a couple different spots. You can do this starting on C. You can do this starting on D. You can do it starting on A. You can do it starting on G. So C, G, D, and A. You can start off by practicing all of these different things in 5-finger position, one hand at a time, and then putting both hands together and doing both hands at the same time. You want to change direction. For example, if you are playing a C 5-finger scale, starting on C, going to G. If you play both hands at the same time, you want to follow the same key or same direction. You also want to do opposite directions, or you can think of doing the same finger at the same time, like this. You want to practice both ways. In and out, up and down, both directions on the keyboard. Here are some coordination warm-ups to help you get used to using each finger independently. I like to split these up into two different groups. I call it pivoting off of the thumb and also pivoting off of the pinky. So pivoting off the thumb means that you'll play your thumb first, and then you'll play the second finger or your index finger. You will go back to your thumb and then play your middle finger or your third finger and go so forth. So it would be something like this. And that's just back and forth. So that's pivoting off your thumb. You can do the same thing, except you start with your pinky and then you pivot down. You can do this pattern for any of the 5-finger positions that you saw earlier in the video. Another pattern that you want to get used to is something we call thirds, which is skipping a key. So it would look something like this. So instead of playing this key down here and going to the next key, you would skip this key and then go up one more, like that. Or if you are in what we call 5-finger position, it is the first key you play, the third key you play, and the 5th key, 1, 3, and 5. You can also do these in every single 5-finger position that we went over earlier in the video. These are what people will call root position arpeggios. If you play all 3 notes at the same time, that is what you call a root position chord. A more advanced technique for learning spatial awareness or pivoting off of your thumb or your pinky would be what we call finger replacement, and learning to feel different intervals with the same finger. Pay very close attention to this video. I'll try to make it as clear as possible. When you play pivoting off of your thumb or your pinky, you are always going to the next finger that you have available, either going up or either going down. Now, when you do this specific exercise, you are learning different intervals, and intervals just mean how far apart the keys are. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm still going to start with my thumb. I'm going to go to the next key going up like this, and I'm going to go back to my thumb. But when I go to E, or the next key after that, I'm still going to use the same finger I used earlier. So now I'm playing 2 different keys with the same finger. And then after I do that, I replace that finger with the 3rd finger, which would normally go there. And then I move up 1 more key with that same finger. And then I replace that finger with the 4th finger, which would normally go there, and I go up 1 more. Something like that. Now, you can rewatch the video and you can rewatch this small clip I'll show you, and I'll slow it down. That way you can see it easier. This is a bit more advanced, but it will help you learn different intervals with the same finger. You're not always going to be putting your hand in 5-finger position, so after you get used to what we practiced in the beginning of the video, you can move on to this if you feel comfortable. That should be plenty to practice. In the beginning few weeks of when you start playing, it takes a lot of time to get used to this, especially when you play hands together. Take your time, focus on accuracy. Slow everything down, focus on accuracy and placement. Cannot stress enough how much you want to develop good muscle memory and good finger habits. If you have any other questions about any more exercises, or you want me to go into some more advanced exercises that I've made up, feel free to leave a comment below. I will be making many more videos about basic technique, things that I think are more overlooked like this. This is Bob.